Have you recently moved from anywhere in the world and you have just arrived in Australia and you are clueless about what to do when you arrive Australia? You are in the right place because I have recently moved from the UK to Australia and I'm going to be sharing with you the first things I did when I came to Australia. So it's going to be from day one to like 1 month, okay, to help you settle in. Okay, if you're just coming across my videos for the first time, hello, my name is Dale Goodness. I am a registered nurse. I'm currently practicing here in Australia and I hope you love my channel enough to stay put. I hope you love my channel enough to subscribe, join the family so that you don't miss any of my future videos. And if you're a returning subscriber, I want to say a big thank you for always staying here because this channel will not exist without you. Okay, so thank you so much.
I wanna flex my love, I wanna impress.
I am currently here in New South Wales, so majority of things I'm gonna be saying might be more relatable to people coming to New South Wales, especially Sydney, but generally these tips will help you settle in properly in any of the states or territory you decide to move to in Australia. Okay, if you are an Australian watching me and you have a few more tips to give to new immigrant, please drop it down in the comment section. I really love when I read from you guys because you people have a wealth of knowledge about everything in Australia. So let's get started. Let's help people settle in. The very first thing you want to do when you get down to the land under is to get a SIM card. Look, you literally cannot do anything in Australia without a SIM card. Well, that's a joke, but a majority of things you need to do requires you to have a SIM card. Okay, so yeah, get a SIM card. For SIM cards, I would say make more research about which one is strong in your area of location. Okay, for me, I went with Telstra. Now, Telstra is known to be more expensive, but it is very good. It's one of the best in Australia, and I just like the fact that whenever I move out of Sydney area, I can literally use Telstra every other place I go to. So what I would say is make a research about which network is more preferable in your area and go with it. Okay, you can get a SIM card in shops, you can get a SIM card in post office. If you don't have any means of communication immediately you leave the airport, you can get it at the airport. Okay, but I do not really advise people to buy things at the airport because I really find it more expensive. Okay, but if you don't have any other means to communicate with people once you leave the airport, due to the Wi-Fi there, I'd advise you to buy it at the airport anyways. I would have said get an accommodation, but I have already done that about the things you should do before coming, so I'm not going to go into accommodation. I've also done a detailed video about the tips to get you an apartment, so I'm not going to be talking about that in this video. I'm going to drop the link to the video about accommodation in my description box, so feel free to check that out. Okay, so the next thing you need to do after getting SIM card, accommodation and all that is to register with your state. Now, I don't know for other states, but here in New South Wales, there's something called the New South Wales ID card. You need that ID card for a lot of things, okay, because most things you need to do in Australia, they do need you to have a local ID card. Like either you have a New South Wales ID card, a driving license that is from Australia. What I did was I went to one of the service area called New South Wales Services. You can check this on Google and you'll be able to find the nearest service area close to you and go and get a state ID. They will only ask you for like your visa, the visa you are currently on. They're going to ask you for your international passport. They're going to also ask you for your accommodation. Within a week or two, they are going to send you your ID card to your home address. Okay, I did my New South Wales driving license together with the state ID because you can actually do it in the same place. Okay, I came into Australia with a UK driving license and I was able to convert my UK driving license to Australia driving license without having to take the test. Okay, so UK and Australia drive on the same side of the road and road signs are similar. Okay, I've not found any road signs here that is totally out of what I already know, so they do accept it. Now, another thing you need to do immediately you get to Australia is to get a tax number. Okay, so they call it the tax file number and you can literally do this online. Okay, you can also do it at one of the tax offices, but I did mine online and I got my number within few days. Okay, when you register online, after a few days you can call them to say you've done your registration and you're calling to see if you can get your tax number. They're going to ask you some security questions and then they will give you the number over the phone. Now, that tax number is very important because some employers will not let you start work without that. Some of them will say within 28 days of you starting work you need to get that. So please make that your priority especially if you are here for work purposes. Okay, make sure you have that at most the second day or the third day of you arriving Australia. Make sure you fill the form for your tax number. I do not think you can do it when you are outside Australia, because you will need an Australian address. So if you already have Airbnb, and you also need a SIM card, so I would say just do it when you get here. I know some people who find a way to do it before they come, but I would say there is no point. Okay, get your tax number when you get here. Don't overdo things and spoil things for yourself. The next thing you want to do when you arrive Australia is to make sure that you've got a bank account. Well, opening a bank account, like I said in my previous video, if you've been following my journey, you can actually do this 2 weeks before you come to Australia. But if you didn't do it, don't panic. Okay, just walk into any of the high street bank close to you and register. Things they are going to ask you, they're going to ask for your international passport, of course. See, anything you are doing in Australia first few days, just go with your international passport. You need your international passport, you need to have a SIM card, you need to have an address, and I think, yeah, your visa as well. These are the 4 basic things they are going to be asking you for you to open an account here. You need to open an account. That's the only way employers will pay you legally, so yes, it is very important. The next thing you have to do when you arrive Australia is to update your details on IMI website. So you know the place where you applied for your visa, you have to update your phone contact number and also your address. Okay, so this will let the Australia government know that you've arrived Australia, and they will know where you stay. That way they can easily communicate with you via your postal address. Another thing you have to do when you arrive Australia is to get an adapter. Now Australia uses a very funny type of adapter that is not that popular. You need it to charge your phones, you need it to just charge most of your things. If you do not already have it before you come, get it at any of the postal store, any of your shopping centers. The next thing you want to do when you arrive Australia as a registered nurse is to get your working with children's check done. I think it differs from state to state, okay, but you need to do that because your job, if you are coming in to work, would require you to have that. So it's just like a DBS check as well, that we do in UK, that you are legally allowed to work with minors, vulnerable people, especially children. So you need to do that. I think I paid about $80 for that. I did that online, and I still had to go to the New South Wales service to finalize it. Next thing you have to do is to get your national police clearance. Some employers will do it for you, some will not, so make sure you are very clear on that before you do it. Another very important thing you have to do when you get to Australia as a registered nurse is to get your professional indemnity. Now in the UK, you have the likes of like RCN, of Unison. Here in Australia, they have a lot. Look, a lot. Every state has their own body, and then there are some individual ones. For me, I registered with New South Wales Operating Theatre Association because they are more specific to peri-op nurses, because I'm an anesthetic nurse. So that's the union I'm currently in. So you just have to shop around for the best ones in your location. It's not like universal like in the UK, where RCN covers almost everywhere in the UK, but here they have state-based, because in Australia every state pays differently, so these bodies fight for state pay. If you have any issues at work, they'll be the one to help you clarify all those things. They also give you a lawyer. You can read all the benefits on their website. So just make your research and get the one that suits you better, okay? If you're a registered nurse, you might want to get some new pairs of scrub. As much as I know, some states here will provide you with uniforms. If you're working with some private hospitals or agencies, you might need to buy your own scrubs. And I want to give a big shout out to today's sponsors, Fitville. So Fitville does make amazing shoes that are very, very comfortable, shoes that allows you walk freely, especially for nurses that do stand for a long time at work. You know the vibes, you know the drill. You want to get something really, really comfortable, and I really recommend this brand. I have one of their shoes, and I'm going to show you. This is the 2 clean ones I have. I was so happy when I got the package, and I just wore the first one to work. They also have the ones you can buy for running. They have really comfortable shoes, and yeah, for nurses, we know how important these shoes are. I'm going to open this one for us to see. We already know how important comfortable shoes can make or mar your day. You don't want to be caught with a painful shoe or shoe that will be stressing. So these are breathable shoes, okay? Look, and they are like anti-slip shoes. They don't slide when you march on the floor, so it's very safe for work as well. And yeah, I'm gonna leave you a link in my description box where you can get yours, okay? And let me know about your purchase with them. They're affordable and they deliver worldwide, so do not even be worried about the distance, okay? So yeah, thank you so much Fitview for sending me this amazing package. Thank you for looking after my feet, okay? I really appreciate it. Guys, go copy yours, link in my description box. Another very important thing to do immediately you get to Australia is to start building your credit score, okay? So immediately I opened my bank account, I asked the lady there about credit scores, how to get mortgage, and you know, all those good stuff. And the one thing I got to realize is I could not transfer my perfect credit score in the UK to Australia. Australia is not that big on credit scores, like compared to the UK anyway. From my research and what the bank lady told me, they don't really look at your credit score to get you a mortgage. What they look is your account balance. What you credit scores are great, but it's not a deciding factor. It's still good you build your credit score as a human being, because you don't know when you might need a big loan. Building a credit score is just something that helps you in case of an emergency where you need urgent huge sum of money. The bank can easily loan you. So what you can do is the same tips on credit score every other place. Pay your bills on time. You can get something on credit like a phone, an iPad, or even you can get a car, and just make sure you pay your bills on time. I also have a video on how to boost your credit score. I did that video a year ago, but I feel like it is still very important, so I'm going to also leave it down in the description box so you can check that video out on how to build your credit score. It's in the UK, but you can still apply those tips here, okay? Probably I'll do an updated video. You have to figure out how you're going to be transporting yourself from one place to the other. Like I said in my previous video on accommodation, it is more preferable to get an apartment that is close to your workplace so that you don't really need to be biting yourself on how to go to work every day, or if you need to get a car. However, if you're not lucky and you got a house far from your place of work, you might need to either get a bus travel card. Here in New South Wales, we have a card called Opal card. I use that, and I also use my bank card because contactless card can work easily. Opal card is just money you put into that account and you recharge it every time it's almost finished. I did connect it to my bank so it can just always deduct money whenever it needed, but that's the card you use in most buses around Sydney area. Otherwise, you might start looking at getting a car, especially if you have a driving license, you live far from work, or you just need a car anyways because you have a family, you have children, and you don't want to be hopping buses with your children. You might decide to get a car. Forget a car. If you are a registered nurse, one thing I'll always say is most employers have what we call novated lease. So novated lease is a way you can easily get a car from a registered company that is in collaboration with your workplace, whereby they can lease you a car and they collect the money from your salary, either not taxed, it depends on how you package your salary, or it's taxed, okay? But they do give you a novated lease. It's almost the same thing as financing a car. Look out for the area you'll be going to and decide if you need to get a car, or you can actually survive a few weeks or a few months without having to get a car. Another very important thing you need to do when you get to Australia is to register for the Medicare. Now, Medicare is just like the NHS in the UK, okay? It is the universal healthcare system here in Australia that gives each citizen and each permanent resident a free healthcare. Although you do pay in tax, I don't want to go into that. You pay your taxes for that. However, it is free at the point of service. You can register for your Medicare online, okay? It does take a while to come, so I've currently not had mine. It does take a long while. I've not actually called them to chase it up, but I'll do that soon if I don't get it within a few more days. Most people that I've come across will say it's also good to get private health insurance, but personally I don't think, if you are a permanent resident, I don't think there is any need for a private health insurance, except you 100% need it. For me, I think the things that the Medicare cover, I'm happy with that for now. As time goes on, if I do need it, I might apply for a private health insurance, okay? But for now, I'm fine. One thing that amazes me is that Medicare does not cover ambulances. I'm like, excuse me, you're gonna cover me when I'm in your hospital, but you don't care how I get there. What if I'm having a heart attack? You might need to have insurance for ambulance, which I find a bit weird, because in the UK, once you have paid for your insurance, you are covered anything, emergency, ambulance and all that. But yeah, the Medicare doesn't cover that. I think they don't cover dental as well. I think it's also similar to the UK. The UK doesn't cover your dental procedure. There are some visas that do not allow you access to Medicare, so you want to be sure that you are eligible for Medicare before you apply. Most of the times you will already know before coming, so yeah, make yourself aware of your visa restrictions. Now, depending on the visa you're coming in with, there are some clauses to your visa. Even if you're a permanent resident, if you come in with a 190 visa, you have to stay in one state for about 2 years. If you come in with the 186 visa, you have to stay with your employer for 2 years. If you come in with 491, you have to stay in a regional area for 2 years. Like, every visa you come in with might have a clause, work limit. Some does not have. Some have so much things, but just make sure you read about your visa and know and follow those rules, okay? I've always said it, Australia has one of the strictest visa, immigration, blah blah blah. So make sure you familiarize yourself with everything that has to do with your visa and follow them so you're not caught unaware. Okay? Another thing you have to do when you get to Australia is to know where things like foodstuffs for your country is. I did come in with loads of foodstuffs, so I'm not really that needy for African food stuff, but it's a good idea for you to know where these things are. It's also a good idea for you to join an African community, or if you're from Indian community. Like, Australia is very multicultural, so you definitely find someone from your background. You can join them. You can even join them online. Some of them have WhatsApp group that they always communicate. To be honest, I'm not in any of those groups, but a lot of people find it useful. I am someone that has traveled for a long time, and I did survive without people, so I'm not really fussy about joining the community, although it is good, okay? It is good, I wouldn't lie, but I'm someone that I'm okay on my own, okay? If you are first time in Australia, it's almost the first time you leave your country, or the second time, or you just strive with people around you, joining a community might help you. Joining a church might help you as well. That will help you socialize more, get to know more people. Also, you might want to join a hiking group. Australia has amazing wildlife. They have groups that people just go about seeing new things. You might want to join all those groups to help you, okay? On Facebook, you will see them. By the way, let me use this opportunity to tell you that I do have a Facebook page where I go live most of the time. I share my unedited life with you guys. You will see me every day. So if you're not yet following me on Facebook, oh wrong. Oh wrong, okay? Follow me on Facebook, it's not stereo. And of course, you might be able to see updates faster than people here on YouTube, because sometimes I already post on Facebook weeks before I ever post here on YouTube. Another very important thing you need to do when you get to Australia, most of the times your employer will tell you during your orientation, is to register for salary packaging. Salary packaging helps you to pay less tax here in Australia. What I've got to understand is not every organization offers this, but if you're a nurse, most likely your hospital will offer this to you. If you're also a healthcare professional, your hospital might offer this to you. So they will always tell you during your orientation, okay? So don't fret. But I want to say it is something you should consider registering for, because it helps you reduce your tax and helps you increase your take-home pay. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you do enjoy my content. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to also share this video with one of your friends, especially the ones that are coming into Australia and they'll just need something to guide them. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.